if there was never an orange Power Ranger, would this be what its Zord would look like? Bum, 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 bum. Hello! Another video for Deadzone Escalation. And this time we are talking about the Plague. Now, the Plague started off as a artifact. Well, it came from an artifact. And people found it. It's not really clear. It's in the first edition main rulebook. I'm assuming humans found it, and when they found it, it started reacting badly and mutating people. And they started off mutating to basically the Incredible Hulk. If the Incredible Hulk was on steroids, got spikier, and skin grew really hard, and their faces looked like Skeletor. Basically what I'm saying is Skeletor on steroids. And then they had the instinct to go around and create more plague victims, or infected, whatever you want to call them. So they started attacking people, going off to distant planets, well, attacking the rest of the crew and whatnot that was there, and they became probably twice as tall as a man, so probably about 7-8 foot sort of thing. But skin grew really hard again. They got stronger. They could move a bit faster, and so they again started attacking people. And then those that were left over became more muscular. Their mind started to go more instinctual, but they still knew how to do stuff. So you've got the ones that I've said to start with, the stage 1As, which are called Lords. These are the Skeletors on steroids. These are just the big guys, and then they can infect basically anyone they want, or anything they want, within one exception, which I'll get onto. Then you've got the stage 2s, which still can infect people, but don't have the as much amount of the plague as the stage 1s do. And then you've got the stage 3s, which can't infect people, but can still do manual labour, can do tasks they did when they weren't infected, or plague stage 3s, and so on like that. Basically, bigger stuff, stage 1, small stuff, stage 2, and really, really human-sized or small stuff, stage 3. There is only one exception to this, and it's basically anything green, essentially. So we're talking orcs, goblins, and hulks. I don't know about hobgoblins, but I'm assuming they count as well, are immune to the plague. Don't know why this is. Maybe Mantic will explain it in another book, but no idea why the Marauders are immune to the plague. So that's kind of why the Marauders can get a lot of money from people from going into plague infested dead zones, because they are unaffected and can just do and just fight people as normal. So let's begin. So starting on page 96 with the leaders. Stage 1A, Lord. 36 points, 4 victory points. Mover 1, dash 1, very slow. Armour 2, size 3. No shoot, but fight of 3, survive of 4. Tactician 2 and tough. Yeah, it's pretty clever in plague terms. Talons, range, RF and AP 1. Weapon options none. Recon 5+, and Splat is mutation. Spend an army special result at the start of the model's activation. That model manifests a mutation for the rest of the round. Choose from Resilience 1, Frenzy 1, increase AP of 1 RF weapon by 1, or increase armour of model by 1. This is pretty good. Well, the stage 1A is basically good all round. The thing is, it's not a beast, so it can pick up items, and it could be given items, which means you can give it, which I think is really funny, 3 energy shields. That, yes, would make it 48 points, which is pretty expensive, but you are armoured 2, you're tough, you're surviving on 4s normally, you're size 3, and you've got 3 survival rolls of 6, and you've still got that energy shield as long as you don't roll too many 1s. So if you want your Plague Lord to be really survivable, I would go for that, and sticking them on an objective will mean, unless your opponent has something really good, I really don't think he will move. I can understand taking the others because they're not too bad, but for an all-around person that's got the offensive capabilities, fighting on 3s and AP 1, and the defensive capabilities of having tough, arm 2, and surviving on 4s, you can't really go wrong with the stage 1A. So next we have the stage 3A General, 16 points and 2 victory points, move of 2-3, no armour, size 1. Shoot of 6, fight of 5, survive of 5. Tactician 1, rifle, range 6, rapid fire. Weapon options, leader, small arms. The only options you've got is a pistol and a rifle. Shame it hasn't got more, but oh well. Recon 4+, and the splat is infection. When an enemy model is killed, you may spend an army special result on your command dice to spread the infection and raise it again as a zombie. Swap the dead enemy model for a pinned zombie in the same cube. The zombie is marked as activated for this round. The original model is dead and the zombie is counted as part of the Plague Strike team. So this kind of clarifies there's no ambiguity of how this works. The enemy model is dead, so you would get the victory points for them, but plague zombies don't have any victory point costs, so you're just getting free models, and I mean plague zombies are dirt cheap anyway, so there's no downsides for taking this. The stats aren't great. I'll put it there. 16 points and 2 victory points is cheap, and the recon of 4+ is really good. The shooting on 6s and the surviving on 5s is gonna hurt. That is its big downsides, and also fighting on 5s. I'd have thought it would fight on 4s, but it is what it is, I suppose. So finally we have the stage 3A Lieutenant. 18 points, 2 victory points. Move of 2-3, no armour, size 1. Shoot of 5, fight of 5, survive of 5, all the 5s. Tactician 1. Rifle, range 6 rapid fire, weapon options, leader, small arms, so pistol, rifle, that's it. Recon 5+, and the splat is Thirst for Blood. Spend an army special result on a command dice at the start of a stage 2A, 2B or Apparition model's activation to gain 0/+1 speed and an RF AP1 weapon, or increase the AP of any RF weapons by 1 for the rest of the round. In addition, the model will not need to test for rampage at the start of this activation. So basically this means if on a stage 2A, stage 2B or an Apparition, you use a splat to increase its long speed. You know when I say 2-3, I mean the second number. Increase the long speed by 1. Increase the AP of a weapon, or increase the AP of a weapon by 1, or get an AP1 weapon. And you don't need to go for rampage. It's not bad. It's slightly more expensive than the general, but the shoot is a bit better. The problem still stands. The stats are very average, and there's no armour. She's surviving on 5s, the recon's 5+. It's not bad. I mean, if you're using it on stage 2Bs, the main thing they're getting is the increased speed and the AP on the weapon, because they ain't expensive. If you're having a lot of leapers, which are the stage 2As, then maybe, but I would take an Apparition or 2 and maybe a Burster or 2, because the Bursters aren't bad. They are cheap. They do take up specialist slot, but you know, they're 11 points. If you want a play force with a lot of models, you are gonna really do this. You've got Hellhounds, you've got Plague Zombies, and then you could take a lot of stage 3A specialists and bursters, and maybe some weapon teams, because they're your cheapest options, and really you would outnumber your opponent so much. My favourite's still the stage 1A. I like the model, I like all the stats, it's really good. The other options, I can see them being really good, but if you want to go safe, you go big, and you go big really. Next we have the troops. So start on page 97 no less, starting with the stage 2A Leaper. 16 points, 2 victory points. Mover 1-2, arm 1, size 2. No shoot value, but 5 to 4, survive 4. Rampage and Frenzy 1. These aren't bad. They are pretty good points wise. The same points cost as a Enforcer. The only difference is they've got a jump pack, but these are bigger. They fight better. They've got Frenzy, but they've got Rampage, which is the downside. And they haven't got a ranged weapon, whereas an Enforcer has. So if you want to take these, you are going to run the risk of them hitting your own forces. But that's only if you roll a 1. If you roll an 8, they move really fast. So it depends how you get them to work. There are ways around it, like taking the stage 3A Lieutenant. That can help a bit. Also, if you take what's her name? If you take Dr. Simmons, which we'll get on to later, she can really help as well because she's a medic. But other than that, you are being risky here. But you know, it might be good. It might be good, but we'll see. So next we have the stage 3A Ghoul. 10 points, 1 victory point. Move 2-3, armor 0, size 1. Shoot of 6, fight of 5, survive of 5. Rifle, range 6, rapid fire. Weapon option, small arms, which means you just get a pistol or a rifle. Stage 3As aren't bad. I haven't seen many people use them. Main reason being when I talk about the Hellhound and the Zombie, people mostly go for them because the Hellhound, you've got speed and you've got cheapness on your side, whereas the Zombie, you've got really cheapness on your side. But the stage 3A nonetheless can do something. It can shoot, not very well, but it can shoot, and being 10 points isn't overly too bad. But I can see why people wouldn't take them. I myself haven't got any normal stage 3 as my troops, but I do have a fair number of Hellhounds and Zombies, which we'll move on to next. The Hellhounds, the stage 3D Hellhound. 6 points, 1 victory point. Move 2-3, armor 0, size 1. No shoot value, but fight of 5, survive of 5. He's beast, and that's it. The thing about the Hellhound is it's pretty cheap. It costs a victory point, which, you know, it will do, but it's got its speed on its side. It 5s on 5s, which is fair to middling, but it costs 6 points, so there's not really much to complain about when it costs that little point cost. So next, and finally for the troops, we have the stage 3Z Zombie. 6 points, no victory points. Move of 1-2, armor 0, size 1. No shoot value, surprisingly. Fight of 5, survive of 6. Horde and vulnerable, that's it. So you take these if you literally want to horde. You can horde with the Hellhounds, and because they've got the speed, you can get the horde thing off pretty well, I'd say. But the thing about the Plague is, some people will talk about taking a zombie tax to get everything else. This is why. They are really dirt cheap, and they take up no victory points. And if you combo this with the stage 3A general, you can get more zombies and keep recycling, and just keep going and going and going. Yes, you won't do it that often, but when you do, it just means you're getting more numbers. And really, if you want a low victory point game for your opponent, it's going to get, you take these. And what's also funny is if you take a load of zombies, your opponent can end up killing a load of models but getting no victory points. I mean, if you really want it, I really want to try a thing where you just have the stage 3A general and take nothing but zombies. It would be weird, and it means you and your opponent's getting a big deployment zone. But I want to see how that works, because your opponent's going to be confused, to say the least. Moving on to the specialists on page 98. Starting with the Apparition. 40 points, 4 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 1, size 4. No shoot value, but fights of 5s, survives of 4. Rampage, tough, beast, talons are ref, AP2, knockback. The Apparition, I like the model, I like what it does. I find it really hard to take down and need to concentrate a lot of firepower to do so. Even when I put something good close combat against it, you need to put a fair bit of close combat against it, otherwise it's just going to tear through your stuff. Yes, Rampage can be a problem, but that's a 1 in an 8 chance to be really bad, or 1 in 8 chance to be really good. The rest are just eh. So, I mean, it's size 4, so it's got 5 health, it's armor 1, survival on 4s, and it's got tough. So, it being killed is going to be hard to do unless you concentrate firepower. And even so, even if you've got a high AP weapon, the tough is still going to be a problem. So I like Apparitions, I really do. If you pay the zombie tax, you can really have a fair few. I mean, in 150 point force, how many can you have? So if we take the stage 3 general, that's 16, and 3 Apparitions is 120. 136 plus 18. Oh no, you could only take 2, couldn't you? And could you? 120, 136, 154, yeah. Only 2 Apparitions. Well, you could take 2 Apparitions on 154.4s, I suppose. 200.4s, you could you stick about 3? Well, 4 would be 160 points, and then 4 is 32, 109. We could only do 3, so you'd still stick a fair few in, and just fill the rest with zombies. So next we have Murder Birds. 19 points, 2 victory points. Move of 2-3. Armor 0, size 2. No shoot, but 5 to 4, survive 5. Tough, beast, flight, scout. These I haven't tried yet, but I think they are really, really good. The thing about them is they can just fly about where they want. They've got scout, which means they can move where you want to start with pretty well. The size 2 and got tough, which means they ain't going to be easy to take down. And they ain't that expensive. The points cost of 19 is weird to me, and it's just the points cost. But I have to say, I've seen a few and I've taken a few down, but it's taken a lot of firepower to put the birdies to sleep. Next we have the Plague Enforcer. Never been a model for these, but you know, we'll see. 20 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2, armour 1, size 1. Fight, shoot and survive 5. Experimental weapon, range 5, experimental, and has a jump pack. Weapon options: heavy, automatic, heavy, brackets, automatic, assault, explosive, which just means the experimental weapon. I've not tried these, but I have made a few. I really want to try them, see how they go. I mean, they've got a jump pack, which means if they fall off of buildings, not going to be a problem. They've got armour. The stats are very average. The experimental weapon would be interesting to try. The problem is everything else has got better stuff going for them. These, they need better. The book for next year, they need the Plague Enforcer doing something to them. They need a model, and considering it's been about 4 years, I think it's been about 4 years. Yeah. Yeah, they need a Plague Enforcer model, please. Yeah, they're just average to me, to be honest. Next is the Plague Swarm. 20 points, 2 victory points. Move 1-2, arm 1, size 2. No shooting value. Can you see a pattern here? Fight of 3, survive of 5. Agile, tough, beast. Acid bite, range F, AP 2. These are horrible. I've faced these countless amount of times and I do not like them. They are worse than the Apparitions. Reason being is they are smaller, and you can have 2 of them in the cube. You can have that and something else, or that and 2 size 1 people in the same cube, which means that can move up, and then you've got, I don't know, a murder bird or a couple of hellhounds, or maybe a stage 3A, or maybe one of the living legends just coming up and just ravaging you. They are decently pointed, they've got tough, they're size 2, they fight on 3s. Yes, they survived on 5s, but they do have tough, which kind of compensates for that. So next is the Plague Teraton. Everyone takes a Teraton, everyone loves the Teratons. 24 points, 3 victory points. Move of 1-2, arm 1, size 3. No shoot values, fight of 4, survive 5, teleport and tough, claws, range F, knockback. Everyone loves the Teratons, and I can see why. They've got tough, they've size 3, they can teleport, they're armor 1, and they're fighting on 4s. They're only 4 points more than the Plague Swarm. But the thing is, there are 3 main, well, technically 4 main for the close combat category for specialists. You've got the Apparition, you've got the Murder Bird, you've got the Plague Swarm, and you've got the Teraton. You could say the Burster, but the Burster's slightly different. The Apparition is legally zone, is kind of a semi-vehicle based thing. You take the Apparition because you just want to punch people's heads off really well and just be really blunt about it. So it's either the Murder Bird, the Plague Swarm, or the Teraton if we're doing it that road. The Murder Bird, it's fast, but its close combat capabilities are a bit limited by the fact it has no AP. And it's got no armour. The Plague Swarm, it's not that fast, but it's got AP on its side. The Plague Teraton, it's got armour, it's got knockback, and it can teleport. So think of what things work for you and see which work best. They are similar points cost. You've got the Murder Birds, which is the cheapest. You've got the Plague Swarm, which is only 1 point more. And then you've got the Plague Teraton, which is 4 points more than the Plague Swarm, or 5 points more than the Murder Bird. It just depends what you want to go for. All of them are good options, to be honest. Next we have the Stage 3B Burster. 11 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, Armour 1, Size 2. No shoot value, but 5-5, Survive 4. Boom 4. So these I like. I've not tried them, but I do want to get the models. I have got some zombie ogres from the Kings of War range. They're kind of a similar size. They might be a bit taller, but I think they'll do. The thing about them is they're surviving on 4s, they've got armour, they are dirt cheap, they're only 1 point more than a Stage 3A. Yeah, they're not as fast, but they've got armour and they're surviving on 4s, which means even if they don't explode, you can use them to punch things a bit better, or just to go in objectives. And if your opponent's using other plague or other close combat options, then your opponent's going to be more scared of these, because yes, they can die if they shot too much or close combat too much, but you can choose for them to explode, and they are rolling 4 dice when they explode, and they're potentially pinning and throwing models all over the place. So yes, they do have a little bit of a risk attached to them, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives. So next we have the Stage 3A Specialist, which is basically the Ghoul, but you can take special weapons. Everything the same on this, except that the shoot and the fight are swapped around. So the shoot is 5 and the fight is 6. And it's got hacker, and the weapon options different. Everything else is the same. So the weapon options, small arms, light brackets, all. So you can take pistols, you can take rifle, you can take flamethrower, you can take HMG, and you can take grenade launchers. Personally, I'd have HMGs or grenade launchers because you know what you're doing with them. Flamethrowers are good. It makes them 14 points, which isn't that expensive, but it takes up a specialist slot, and flamethrowers are a bit much, I feel, for how these are. But because they're fast, you can still get a fair bit out of flamethrowers. It depends what you want, is what I'm saying. So next we have the Stage 3A Weapon Team. 12 points, 1 victory point. Move 1-2, Armour 0, Size 3. Shoot of 5, Fight of 6, Survive of 5. Weapon Team. Rifle, range 6, rapid fire, and weapon options is heavy, brackets, crew served weapon. So you've just got a choice of a mortar, which it's a shame that they haven't got more weapon options for them, but mortars are really good. You can hide them in a corner and just pop mortar grenades out all over the place. Alternatively, what you could do is have them at 12 points just with a rifle, just being a size 3 model. And at 12 points you've got something that's shooting on 5, so that's fairly average. But you've got something that can potentially hold objectives really well. Just have that and a Stage 3A Ghoul in there, or a Hellhound in there. Well, means if you're getting in close combat, you're not doing that badly. It depends what you want to do, really. Give the mortars, pop grenades out all over the place, really funny, or just give them a rifle, just moving about and make your opponent confused as to why they are not dead yet. So the last 3 specialists, which are on page 100, are living legends, which means you can't give them items, you can't change them, they are what they are. You can only take 1 of each in your force. That's it. Well, you can take 1 of each living legend. I always do this. But so, starting with Aiksk. Now I'll spell this because I've got no idea how to pronounce this. It's AQISSIAQ. It's a sphere with the plague. the model just generally looks like a sphere with longer arms and legs holding a shovel with a ripped vest. There's nothing mutated about her at all. But I don't know. So move 20 points, 2 victory points. Move 2-3. Armor 0, size 1. No shoot value, but fight of 3, survive of 5. Tough, rampage, frenzy 1. Nuka blade, RF, AP2, knockback. She's not bad. The tough and the frenzy 1 and the fight of 3 does help a fair bit. But I mean, for the 20 points, you could buy a plague swarm, which is bigger. It's big as its main thing. I don't know. I can see the point of taking her. I can. I mean, she's got no armor, survival on 5, but she's got tough. The rampage is gonna hurt. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think enough people would take her, unfortunately. But I can see why people would. So next we have Dr. Simmons, 18 points, 2 victory points. Move of 1-2, armor 0, size 1. Shoot of 6, shoot of 6, fight of 5, survive of 3. Tough medic tactician. Rifle, range 6, rapid fire, even though the model is armed with a pistol. Weapon options, none. So she's what she is. Dr. Simmons is really good. She is the only medic, as far as I know, that survives on 3s and has got tough. So you can stick her pretty much wherever you want, and she's going to heal people, and she's going to be really durable. You can stick her with the stage 1As, like stick to them like glue. You can stick them with teratons. You can stick them with a load of zombies. You can stick them with swarms, murder birds, bursters, but that's a bit weird. I don't know why you would. Stick her with Arik, the unpronounceable, or stick her with Subject 109. You've got options, you really have. So lastly for the specialists is Subject 109. 24 points, 3 victory points. Move 1-2, armor 1, size 2. No shoot value, surprise surprise, but fight and survive of 4. Tactician 1, rampage, frenzy 2. Teeth and claws, range F, AP 2. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. I mean, in all honesty, he's kind of like a mini Teraton that can't teleport. He's only 4 points more than a plague swarm, and for that you're getting armor, you're getting a better survive, you're getting the frenzy 2, and you're getting tactician. Yes, you've got rampage, which lets it down a bit, but you've got no tough. Yeah, that's a bit different actually. I can still see the point, because at least you've got the extra tactician and you're surviving on 4s. But you are not tough, which is your problem, as is rampage. So I can see people again taking him, but he's a little bit risky. So that's it for the specialists. Next we have the only plague vehicle on page 100, Plague Strider. 30 points, 3 victory points. Move 1-2, armor 3, size 4. Shoot of 6, fight of 4, survive of 5. Beast, solid construct. Weapon options, hard points 2, walker, all, support, brackets, walker. Sorry, that's 2 dash walker, brackets, all, and support, brackets, walker. There's a lot of options. Fighting on 4s means you potentially want to go close combat. You could take a Polaris cannon, but I don't think you really should. You can take a Gravram spear, which isn't a bad thing. You could take dual chainsaws because people will do that. You could take a single chainsaw. The only difference between a single and a dual chainsaw is 2 points. and a single chainsaw has Frenzy 1 and a dual chainsaw has Frenzy 2. A Gravram Spear means you've got AP2 frag, range 4, and you've got a close combat weapon with AP2. You could take a chainsaw and a Gravram Spear, but you'd only get the Frenzy on the chainsaw. It depends what you want to go for. Do you want a lot of Frenzy, or do you want a close combat weapon with a good ranged weapon? It's your choice. You've also got the Aggressor Shield, which adds on another point of armour, but it's going to be expensive for you if you want to take that in a close combat weapon. Let's say a normal chainsaw, which you'd have to... Well, you could take the Gravram Spear, which makes up 50 points and 5 victory points, or you could take a chainsaw and an Aggressor Shield, which makes it 46 points and 5 victory points. It depends on what you want to go for again. As I've said before, I always like Striders, but the fact it shoots on 6s is going to hurt it. Next we have weapons and items on page 101. So the weapons, we have a pistol at 1 point, range 3, rifle 2 points, range 6, rapid fire, flamethrower 4 points, range 2, volatile, it burns, HMG 4 points, range 6, weighted fire 1 and suppression, grenade launcher 8 points, 1 victory point, range 5, indirect 3, heavy, experimental weapon 5 points, 1 victory point, range 5, experimental, mortar 12 points, 2 victory points, range 8, indirect 4, heavy, chainsaw 8 points, 1 victory point, range F, AP2, frenzy 1, dual chainsaw 10 points, 1 victory point, range F, AP2, frenzy 2, assault flamer 6 points, no victory points, range 2, AP1, volatile, it burns, heavy burst laser 8 points, 1 victory point, range 10, weight fire 2 and suppression, which they do have the HMGs which suppress, and the heavy burst laser, but that's the only suppression they've got. Polaris cannon 10 points, 1 victory point, range 10, AP4, Gravram Spear 12 points, 1 victory point, range F, AP2 and range 4, AP2, frag 3, Aggressor Shield 8 points, 1 victory point, Walker Shield, which gives it an extra point of armour on a Walker, on the Strider should I say. Shoulder rockets 6 points, range 3, 1 use, frag 3, grenade, and the smoke launchers 3 points, range 3, 1 use, smoke, grenade. Now the dual chainsaws, the heavy burst laser and the Polaris cannon take up 2 hard points. The shoulder rockets and the smoke launchers do not use hard points. Items, you've got ammo at 2 points, AP ammo at 4, energy shields at 12, frag grenade at 6, hollow sight at 8 and smoke grenades at 3. The plague then, it's obvious to me and maybe a fair few of you that potentially cleverer than me that the plague are a mostly close combat force. There is a bit of range in that the stage 3As have some ranged weapons, like the Gauls have ranged weapons, 2 of the leaders have ranged weapons, the Strider can take a few ranged weapons, the Enforcer has a ranged weapon, the weapon teams have a ranged weapon, and the Specialist has a ranged weapon. Everyone else is close combat. I mean, the worst close combat is fighting on 6s, and that's only the Specialist and weapons team. Everyone else is fighting on as low as either 5, 4s or 3s. Their weaknesses, they are a bit weak in that the small stuff is weak, should I say, and their shooting's a bit average to not good. They have got some speed on their side with the small stuff, but the big stuff is really, really good. I mean, you've got the Stage 1A, you've got the Apparition, you've got the Plague Teraton, you've got the Plague Swarm, you've got the Murder Birds, you've got the Strider. There's stuff that's going to be really hard to kill. And it's a really good starting force, I think, as well. You've basically got the main thing of running up, shoot a little bit, and get into close combat, hacking people to pieces. You've got a load of small stuff supported by medium stuff and really, really big stuff. and your opponent's going to panic with how many numbers you have and how many big things are going to gobble you up. So that's it for the plague. Goodbye for now.